welcome back to another episode of Happiness Matters, the show with me, Beanie Man, and Mo the service dog, who is quietly laying on the floor right now. So, and fun fact today, this is the 50th episode already. I can't believe it. So, thanks for hanging out here and watching it, and welcome to Rolf.
Say that faster.
I know. I was like, blah, 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 blah. And Rex and I, we met at the Business Breakthrough Mastery Bootcamp with Gary Barnes, who I did the show with a few shows ago. Mm-hmm. And I think that was your first time there too,
wasn't it? It was my first time. And as you recall, and I won't go into a lot of details on this, but I got invited kind of last minute through a third party, and I wasn't sure why I was there. But I figured it out, got to meet great new friends like you, and it turned out to be a real blessing. So
I'm with you.
I think everything was aligned appropriately that we were supposed to meet.
Right. Well, there are no coincidences, because I wasn't planning on going. But then I put out to the universe with the attitude, it's like, fine, you want, because it kept coming up, said, fine, do you want me to go? Give me a discounted ticket. And the universe said, as you wish, here you go. So that's how I ended up there.
Mine was almost the same way through a third-party person we know, and Ted Prodromo. I was at a mastermind group of his, and he happened to be an attending, and I got a discount because of going in as a guest of his to an event I didn't even know I was going to. And I decided, okay, my universe said go, and so I canceled all my appointments for 2 days.
Wow.
And went, and again, I've just been enriched by relationships, first of all, plus the content was great. So.
Oh, it was phenomenal, and you and I had a chance to talk over dinner I think the first night there and everything, and it was just like, wow, this is so cool. And I love your story. So you were actually a football player.
I was a football player at Ohio State. We like to say the Ohio State University. We're kind of
are there more? I don't know.
No, we got an attitude about the Ohio State University. But so I was fortunate to play for legendary coach Woody Hayes. Those probably over 50 would know Woody Hayes. Extremely well-known, epic coach of his time. And so I played, college ball. And then now for the last 13 years as just kind of a part of a give back. And my business allows me the time I coach high school football. I love working with developing youth. They are our future, and that's a vehicle by which I can do it. But yeah, so sports and football especially has been a passion for me, and every fall I get a little crazy, especially around college football, and so we have to shut the doors and windows so people don't think I'm beating the wife and dog and things like that, because I get a little too excited, but it's fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, every once in a while, my husband watches all the stuff, and I'm like, yeah. If it's not the Broncos playing, I really don't care. I mean, hey, I'm a girl,
Yeah.
But I get that. It's like, oh yeah, ooh, and I'm like, oh, or the opposite. I was like, ah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna talk to him right now because no.
Right.
No. So you went to school in Ohio. So what brings you to Colorado?
Well, a whole number of things that I was very much involved in other kinds of student organizations. I was involved in a fraternity when I was in college, and I had an opportunity when I was graduating to go out through the fraternity and reorganize a chapter in Southern California. I was always interested in, and I kind of learned this more over time, organizational development, people development. I didn't even know what it called or what it really meant to me then. So I went out to Southern California just to help. Why aren't you cute?
You silly.
Part of the shtick. So
you found a new toy? Good.
So anyway, I went out to Southern California just to what I thought was spend a summer to try to get work with this chapter there. Ended up staying 10 years.
Oh wow!
And
short gig.
And through a series of things that really started me in my profession, I met up with some people, and we founded an executive search practice that we eventually opened in Newport Beach, and that got me involved in the whole talent management, coaching, consulting realm of what I dealt with.
Like for sports or for business?
No, this was business. This
was
helping individuals find employment through an executive search firm.
Oh, okay.
But that got me interested in talent management. But it was really through extracurricular school activities that I ended up in California for 10 years, and then through another decision to transition, ended up in Colorado.
Okay.
And so
And you're stuck here.
I've been stuck here, and by choice, I like it here.
I know,
a
right?
lot,
I love it here
you know,
too.
I've lived enough places that say, what's going to be better? There's a few places. I've lived on the beach and been there, done that, and so I've had different opportunities. But there's so much that this has to offer that I'm a big outdoors, kind of person.
Nice.
And I love sports. This is a great sports town. So Denver. So
That's very
and
cool.
you're in Colorado Springs, but
Right.
close enough. The home front range.
You hop on I-25, and I'm like, what, 5 minutes, if that, from I-25, and I can go anywhere. So, I mean, it's really, whoop, there we are.
Right.
So, no, that's awesome.
I tell my daughter all the time, you live in one of the most beautiful places in the world, don't you? And, please note that every time you go out your front door.
And I get that, because every time I leave, and you'll see that when you leave, when you come back out on the main street, I mean, there's Pikes Peak and Cheyenne Mountain right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen it. I mean, we've lived in this house, 10 years now? And it doesn't get old.
Yeah, yeah.
It just doesn't get old. And I just love it. And sometimes there's like low cloud cover underneath, and then there's cloud above, and then the sun shines just at the top of the mountain. I mean, it
seems
is
like every
just-
third day you got the most gorgeous sunsets.
Right.
With this painted orange and gold and yellow.
Oh, Bronco colors.
Yeah. Blues, you're right, blues and lavenders.
that Gesundheit. So you love the outdoors. Is that
Yes.
your passion, or do you have something else that really?
Well, I
really
mean, it all
excites
fits
you?
together. Being, I'll say sports-oriented, outdoors. The whole thing translates to I like being active, and active, I think, refreshes the body, mind, spirit, and everything.
Absolutely.
I get so antsy if I'm not moving after a while, just because. I always believed, one of the things sports and those activities did, it teaches you to, yes, you got to push the body, but to push the body, you first have to push the mind, and you have to have what's feeds into what you do, that attitude to want to move, to watch yourself grow and gain, and I think that becomes one of the vehicles that has proved to be part of the catalyst for how I approach my work. I think how you approach yours. I know, Beanie, you're all about just PMA, positive mental attitude. I got a vision board, and I've got a PMA, initials and various things right in front of my desk. It's one of the first things that I look forward to seeing is that PMA sign.
Oh yeah.
But it's through that, for me, athletics and sports and outdoors pushes your body in a positive way, but you have to be the right frame of mind to get your body to do.
Well, I mean, it's
the
all
things you wanna do.
connected.
Exactly.
It is all connected. It's like we might want to think one can work without the other, but it doesn't.
No.
It really doesn't. It's like for me, and I have a bunch of issues here that I'm dealing with, that I'm working through, and if the mind is not strong enough, the rest is not moving. And that's true, because sometimes I wake up in the morning and my whole body is hurting.
Right.
And I just don't want to do nothing that day. But I'm not giving into that.
For years, I didn't share, and I think maybe I told you, but I found out in 2008 that I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. I didn't even know what it was, and I started reading all about it, and I said, well, that's depressing. So
Isn't that scary?
And I could forget that, and then they put me on all kinds of medication, cancer drug, and all this kind of stuff, methotrexate, and I felt worse by taking it, and I said, I'm going to try to do it through other ways, exercise, natural supplements, it's an inflammation kind of thing. So I wake up pretty much every morning with aches and pains. But so what I decided to do is to confront the pain, and I get on the treadmill or I do anything to get that out of my system, then I feel better. And I get about my day, but I just refuse. Say, okay, this is what, this is my ailment. Sooner or later, everybody's going to have their own. And one of the ones that I'm not going to let be one of mine is the mental aspect that can get into those things. And I'm not, I do what I want to do. And and it takes a little bit more energy than most.
Right.
But that's part of the thing. If I'm going to inspire myself, be an inspiration to others, well then I can't have this cushy life and deal with people that got all the other issues and problems and say, come out there, go get them. And I haven't had a chance to apply that myself. So
You may practice what you preach?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
So I call it in denial. I don't care what you call it. I just, there's just certain things
I don't think
gonna
it's denial.
accept. I'm just not going to accept me feeling sorry for myself. And it's not that bad. I mean, I know people where it's gotten to the point, they can't even get out of a chair in their wheelchair. I'm not there yet. Maybe someday, but I'm a long way from it. And I've reached a new phase in my life and the backstory to this, of disruption in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to go to the next level, and I've had several levels in my life and career. I got out of the safe environment, which isn't always all that safe, of corporate and the
It's
regular.
really not safe. I
you know.
mean, it used to be,
Yeah.
but it's anything but safe.
And so I took the leap of faith about 7 years ago, went off on my own, and
Good for you.
I found myself more when I stopped making it about corporate America and I started making it about other people I was trying to help. I found myself more in that than I ever did in the corporate environment.
Mm-hmm.
When
I get
you're
that.
making it about other people.
It's all about other people. It's not about me. It's not about you. I mean,
Right.
whatever we do, it's not about us.
Right,
It's not. It's really about the other people. It's about you guys.
right.
How can we help you enhance your lives?
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it's all about. And I love that. But back to, the ailments and everything and this or the other thing happening in your life. And we always have a choice to make. It's like, do we give in and hang out there in that place, and go that, oh, bo-ho-ho, poor me. I mean, okay, do that for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
but stop. Don't stay there.
Right.
Acknowledge it. It's like, for me, it's like, oh man, this sucks. It's like, 3 months ago or so, I was diagnosed with lipedema. Never heard of that. Well, now it makes sense why no matter what I'm working on and what I do, losing weight, I'm gaining. Well, lipedema is, I refer to it as fat cancer. I mean, where the fat cells just grow, and they grow in your arms and your legs and in your hips. They just do. And there's nothing that can be done except lipo or whatever. And for a minute, I was sitting there and I felt all sorry for myself. I admit that. I'm human. I broke down. My husband, he's so sweet. He goes, I love you no matter what. I said, I know you do, but this is so frustrating. Because there's another whammy. I mean, first in 2005, I was officially diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which I make fun of.
Right.
MS. I'm officially mucho special.
My wife was diagnosed with
Mucho
MS.
special.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I mean, it's like, so I had my moment of bah-ha-ha, boo-hoo-hoo, and I was like, okay, now what? At least now I know. Now I understand why all my attempts to do better for my body and do this and the other, they all failed. Now I know why.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, am I happy about it? Not really. But I accepted it to a point, and then I moved forward because now I'm looking at, okay, now what can be done?
Mm-hmm.
There must be something. If nothing else, I can raise awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm looking to do. But the point really is like we all get blows. Diagnosis this, diagnosis that, or something at work, or lose a job, or something always happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The trick is not to stay there.
Right.
It's like acknowledge it. It's like, yeah, this sucks. This sucks like a super hoover. Now what?
Right.
What can I do? What was the lesson, to learn from this to move forward? Use it as a stepping stone, not as a boulder that buries you. And that's really the difference.
I think, someday we all are going to finish the race, and I don't say
Man, I'm going out with a bang.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm a long way from finishing.
Oh.
I've got a whole
I haven't even
nother
started yet.
level that I want to make sure that I live well so I can finish well, and that there is a legacy there. But there's so much space between now and then that I just know I got a lot more work. And my brother and sister and I have a brother and sister older. And sometimes when we get talking, will kind of migrate, which we used to complain about our parents, where you get all these people say, well, I got this ache and that pain going on. We gotta stop talking like this is this thing we always joked with our parents about. Get people over 50 or whatever, they start talking about this or that, you know, it's kind of like, screw that.
Right.
And again, it's not denial, it's just that you can talk yourself into places
Oh my
or
gosh.
that mindset that it's just not healthy to go there.
Right.
And so why?
Well, the thing
And-
too is, it's like once you say I have this, that, and the other, you know, I'm fighting this, that, or the other, or whatever. You take ownership of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why would I want to take ownership? I never took ownership of the multiple sclerosis. You know, I was like, no, that's not what it is. I'm okay. Denial is a beautiful place to be sometimes, but I never accepted it. I never accepted the diagnosis. I made fun of it. You know, I'm using the MS for mucho special.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now with the lipedema, that's a little different, because I have the visible signs of it. You know, so that's different. But I'm still looking at it. It's like, okay, clearly my body is dealing with it, but it's my body dealing with it. It's not me dealing with it. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Because my mind, I don't see this in my mind. In my mind, I'm running on the beaches, I'm doing whatever I want, I have the body that I want and everything. It's just this body right now is just not very cooperative. But there's maybe it's a disconnection, but it's just, I don't own this. I'm not doing, it's like, poor me.
Right.
Been there, done that.
You know, a lot of times, and people that may be listening to this, and I think about my own language, it's just not, oh, get over it, be happy. I realize there are people, and your struggles and at different times in my life, it's not that easy to say, oh, just change. Oh, just have a positive attitude.
No, it's not.
But to start with that awareness and goal, that is exactly what you want to do, there is a process, there is a set of steps
Yep.
that get you there, and it doesn't necessarily mean the steps have to be long and arduous, but there's a mindset methodology. And I recently read your book, and you kind of speak to that, which you may want to say, Happiness
thanks.
Matters book. There it is right there.
Since
Nice
you
little
brought it up,
segue.
Aww, and you can get it on Amazon.
And it's a great read, by the way.
Thank you.
The night after I went home from the 3-day workshop that Beanie and I started to read her book in bed like that night. and you know, sometimes people that write books and they, yeah, okay, and you kind of check the box, read it for. But I really found it had good tools. So there is oftentimes a method to the madness and a process of change. And I know just saying, oh, okay, it's easy for you guys saying just be happy. Well, it's not that easy for people. And
it's
it is a process.
It is a process.
But you can do it. It first starts with the intention that my current state cannot or should not stand. And then you begin to take it one step at a time.
Yep.
And
Awareness. I'd always talk about the power of awareness. It's like you have to realize, and then you take the inventory. And it's like, yeah, this is not working for me. Even though this is how it's been, it's not working. Now what? What can I do? Not, poor me, or why is this happening to me? Bo ho ho. No. Change that. What can I take away from that? Now what? What can I do to change that and to move forward? But we're so conditioned to go that poor me route because, oh, there's a pill for this, and there's a pill for that, and there's a label for this, and there's a label for that. And it really boils down to taking responsibility for yourself, which, that's scary, but it's worth it.
Well, the one thing you're doing, and you know, I try to do, I think others, is, and it's not a distraction or a facade, is when you, even when you've got your own things going on, is when you capture your why. And for me, it's about people around you, and it's, again, not about you. And when you can get in the mode of helping others, all of a sudden you start, your issues and problems don't feel as big and whatnot. And you know, because a lot of times you get so wrapped up in you and your daily misery and problems and challenges and just everyday life. It doesn't even have to be a chronic illness, just everyday life. People can talk themselves into depression.
Oh my God, absolutely.
And there's some people I know, they're perfectly fine. And
I've done it.
Have every reason to be happy and choose not to because they're looking for the things to complain about.
Right.
And so I think it's, you first have to decide, pretty quickly, that
You mean
will
it's
not
up
be.
to me?
Yes. And once you start taking personal responsibility and accountability and make that decision, now you could apply a process
Right.
to get there.
Absolutely.
But it's gotta say, I'm gonna be responsible. It's not the world, it's not the environment, it's not my husband, it's not my wife, it's not something
No,
else.
it's
It's how I personally
right.
will choose to look at it. Now, I don't have all the answers how to do it yet, but that's why people like you, in terms of Happiness Matters and in my different ways, I do career leadership and performance coaching. I have opportunities to influence people when they're
Right.
trying to make
I'm still
those
learning
kinds of
too.
those kinds of transitions. But it starts with personal accountability and choice, what you choose to want to be or not. Then learn from others that have walked that rough road
Right.
and come out the other end happier, better, say, hey, I've got the T-shirt, I've been there, done that.
All right, been there, done that, got that.
Right.
No, and I get that. It's like I never learned. Let's take raising kids for instance. I never learned how to be a mother. I learned what not to do. So, but I knew at some point I wanted kids, and I love my boys. And so what I did, I paid attention. I looked around. How are other people raising their kids? And I took bits and pieces. And that's what we need to do in our life. It's like, it's not one size fits all. It's not even one size fits most. You need to figure out what works for you. And just look around at the people that have been through something similar or maybe the same thing, because believe me, you're not alone with your story, and you just take the bits and pieces. It's like, oh, they're doing this. This is interesting. Maybe this can work for me, and that's what I do. I mean, I still do that. I mean, I had Gary be my coach, but I had many other coaches and mentors along the way, and overall they're phenomenal people, but it's like their whole thing was not a fit for me. That's why I never really hired somebody until now. But I mean, I took bits and pieces. It's like, oh, this is amazing. Yes, I can incorporate this. I can use this for me, and I can use this, and I can use this, and I can use this. And I think that's what we need to do. I mean, we're a patchwork anyway.
Right.
And we just put ourselves together with bits and pieces from all around us that serve us, that help us to move forward. That's working for me, and I'm still learning, and I'm never ever going to stop learning.
Well, what you're doing, and you do, is you surround yourself by positive people, influences, information, content, whatever, and you have to create a bubble from the negative stimuli, whether it's environment, other people, etc. You have to create that bubble, that safe space for you to not let those penetrate you.
Right.
Because it's tough enough with our own thought process, much less take it on all the other ones that are got the little dark cloud and the rain cloud.
I know that. I mean, like, turn on the news, turn on the radio, turn on the TV.
Right.
Even some of the music that's out there, they have a really upbeat tune, but the words are so depressing. It's like, why are you listening to all of this? It's like, my husband is like, well, you need to watch the news, and I love him, and it works for him. He watches the news first thing in the morning, and I always go, why would you want to start your day out on a negative note? No. I start out doing my affirmations. I'm visualizing. Before I even open my eyes, I visualize the end result that I want. And this is what I do, and the music I listen to, it's like, yay, great beat, and then it's like, I learned to listen to the words. And there's a lot of songs that I used to love, I don't listen to anymore. Simply because of the message, because it's subliminal.
Right.
Underlying, that we feed ourselves, and that comes in and comes in and comes in. It's just like a computer program when you have it running all the time, and you download this program and this program and this app and this app. Well, you get all the junk that comes with it in the background, and we're no different of what's coming into our mind and what we're letting in. So it's like having that awareness to pay attention of what you let into your, like you said, into your field is really crucial. And what I found, and I'm sure you did too, it's like your vibe really attracts your tribe.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So since I'm raising my vibration, the people I'm attracting are not just the people. I mean, the circumstances, everything has changed drastically, and there's so many people. They, I mean, they fizzled away because they couldn't keep up, or they wouldn't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everybody has the opportunity to come along this ride. I'm not turning anybody away,
Right.
but I'm not going to drag and pull.
Exactly.
I'm not dragging and pulling. If you want it, come on this ride.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want it, well, maybe not right now, maybe some other time, but I'm not gonna keep going. I used to. It's like, oh, come on, you can do it, and yay. And I'm like, hey, here it is. You're welcome to hop on board.
Right. You know, I was at a wedding this weekend in San Antonio and ran into a very good friend. He used to have a very responsible executive role in the hospitality industry. Ran one division, ran about 40 restaurants, etc. And he's just fallen on times. He's, you know, at that stage in life where he's wondering if he's valued by corporate America, and so he's kind of out there. He's trying to do some consulting and lost. And this guy used to be so full of energy and positiveness, and he's in a state of depression. It was really
Oh, wow.
hard to see, and he's lost his identity through his profession, and then it starts to manifest itself if things become a financial difficulty, and he is just stuck. So as I was asking him questions, listen to his routine during the day, and I usually start to ask people, well, tell me your routine. And if it doesn't start pretty early by thought process or exercise or something to, I don't want to say artificially stimulate, that's not it, it's part of the plan, to do those kinds of things that you're
Right.
you're trying to get the mindset to be right through some of those things. You simply take care of yourself. You know, it starts with getting up, getting your coffee and sitting on the couch and turning on the TV and
Right.
things like that. I mean, it just kind of manifests itself, and so you know, I told him to start doing some regular calls with me. I'm going to get him your book, by the way. I just happen to think I need to get him your book. But he's just stuck, and this is true, and I run into this in the career side of people. When our lives are identified by our career, and it's interrupted, and then other financial difficulties, and then sometimes relational difficulties happen because there's not enough money coming into the house. And
Right.
I mean, it just starts to compound itself, and people just become stuck. And sometimes part of the process and the catalyst is you gotta be humble enough to seek help.
Right.
That's where you come in, right? And
there's no shame in asking for help.
we've all
It's like,
done it.
We've all done it. I mean, and you know, doesn't mean you're weak. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Actually, I think people asking for help are stronger because they have that awareness and they realize it's like, you know what, I can't do this on my own.
Yeah,
I need help.
On the career and leadership side, that's where I come in. But both of us now have hired. We're coaches, trainers, speakers, and we're hiring our own coach. Why? You know, is because we're trying to go to the next level.
No, we're not
to
trying.
help. We're working on. This is a thing. No trying. This is. See,
There's no try.
I just did that to set you up. I knew I was doing it. I just did it so you could make a point to your audience, right?
Okay. There's no try. You either do or you don't. So instead of say I try, say I'm working on.
Right.
I still do. I still say try every so often. It's just like catch it more.
The point is to use others, draft from others, to be a catalyst to help you get unstuck on the career side. Coaching, I do that, but we're both trying to go to the next.
You're trying?
We're both going to the next level. We're in the midst of, on the journey of going to the next level. I've hired my coach as a disruptor for something that basically I've had as a comfortable practice for the last number of years.
And there's no comfort in the comfort zone.
No,
really
and
isn't.
I just chose I can do more. And I chose to make things difficult and disrupt to discover what the next level is, even though I know what good would look like to me, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to get from here to there.
Hey.
I just know if I keep taking steps the path will be revealed. I don't have to know every step to the path.
No.
I just have to decide to engage
Yep.
and keep taking
You have to
steps.
take action.
It's like going through, I look at kind of going into a forest, and there's different paths and forks to take to get to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is I don't get to the other side unless I step into the forest and
Yep.
start walking a path.
For real. But here's the question. Is it difficult or is it just uncomfortable?
It's uncomfortable, but I can make it difficult.
You can make it difficult, but technically it isn't difficult. It's uncomfortable because it's the unknown.
Right.
There's a big difference.
And my mindset will say it's difficult. There may be certain tasks along the way that are not part of my normal comfort zone,
Right.
but I know it's the right path, so you go there anyway. And
Exactly.
you learn and grow from that, and you'll come out the other side.
And you hire your weakness. I love you, Angelique.
Right. And some of the areas I'm great in strategy and conceptualizing and process, but the details in my own that I need to get the right plan in a linear fashion set up. That's why I'm hiring others to help me create that path of least resistance to do that.
Exactly.
I don't know it all. I know what I know, and I think what I know has been established as working for
Right.
others. But there's a lot that
There's
I
so much more.
don't,
Mm-hmm.
that I need to keep learning by hiring or associating with people that provides either the influence or the direction,
Right.
or just the energy
Mm-hmm.
to go. And I think we gravitate, and people that we've met through this process recently, because it's a lot of high energy, goal oriented
Oh my
people
gosh, it is
that we're all
amazing.
drafting off of each other, right?
Right. And we're learning from each other, and
Right.
that's what I love. It's like as I'm growing and you're growing, we're attracting more people that can help us along the way. Because I don't believe in coincidences. It's like I was ready to take my whole business, my whole everything to the next level.
Mhm.
And Gary stepped into my life. I
Mhm.
went to his boot camp, then I did the speaker boot camp, and now I hired him as the coach.
Mhm.
Because I have gone as far as I can on my own.
Mhm.
But I know where I want to go. I have the end result in my head. I mean, in my head, the big picture is done. It's just, how do I get from here to here? So I needed the navigator.
Well, if your audience has already summed up seeing me and you, we're not starting our career. We're not.
Oh, no.
We're on the other side of mid-career. That doesn't mean that we're on the other side of growth
Oh, no.
and development
You never
and
stop
improvement,
growing.
right?
Never stop growing.
So I hope for those that feel, whether they're in their late 40s, 50s, 60s, or beyond,
Mm-hmm.
that your best work is somehow done or something like that.
No, it's not.
And that's clearly where we're not. We know we're over that midpoint, but it doesn't mean we're over our best
No.
time.
No, absolutely not. I actually did a show with a gentleman. The best time is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's whatever you want to start, whatever you want to do. It's like there's no time like the present to get started, because somebody else was telling me, what is this? Done is better than none.
Mm-hmm.
Just start moving into the direction. Do something. If it's a book that you wanted to write, it's been inside of you forever. It's like, what's stopping you? Just start writing. It doesn't have to make sense right now what you're writing. Just start writing.
Mm-hmm.
It'll come. It'll all come together, and just get it together and get it out.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of sitting there and hemming and hawing and waiting for the perfect time and for the perfect this, the perfect that. Perfect is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect doesn't exist.
Right.
Because my perfect is different from your perfect is different from your perfect. And we can look at this, say, an apple. We can all look at it. I look at it from this way, you look at it from this way, you look at it from this way. We all see a different angle.
Sure.
And our perception of perfect on that apple is different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with everything else. So just go do and follow your heart and do what you want to do. Ask for help if you need it. There's a lot of free resources out there. There's a lot of amazing people out there. They offer services and all kinds of things. And here's the other thing too. It doesn't necessarily have to cost money.
Mm-hmm.
Trading, bartering, it works.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you barter, I barter. It
Yeah.
works.
I told you a little while ago, I'm coaching an individual,
Right.
and we're trading, and he's redoing my website.
See? So if you have a talent, trade. Find somebody to trade with. I trade a whole bunch of services. But here's the thing too. There has to be something in it for both of you equally. Okay, it cannot just be like, oh, you know what? I need this from you and I can take you out to dinner. You know, it's like I need to, let's say a website for instance, I need you to create my whole website and in exchange I take you out to dinner. That's not gonna
No.
work.
It's got to be
It's gotta be somewhat
equal value.
Right. It has to be a win-win for both sides. You know, it's just like so that because I believe there always has to be an energy exchange. Whether it's money for services or services for services, there has to be some sort of exchange.
And it can't be void. It can't be just the act of.
No, it has
can
to be
be
for
void
real.
of really wanting to help that person, leveraging what I do and what he does for me is that if you put your heart into it, the work
Right.
and will follow. And all you've done, not only have you gotten mutual results, but you have created a value proposition and another advocate. You know, he's doing a great job for me. I'm an advocate for his business and vice versa. You create advocates. That,
Exactly.
you know,
No, I mean, it
for all
is
the right
just,
reasons.
there's so many possibilities to reach out to people and get help. Just do it. I mean, it's like, you are, I am,
Mhm.
and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's necessary. It is necessary, so. This was great.
Well, I've
I hope you
enjoyed
guys
it.
got some value too. Did you have fun?
I had a great time.
Good.
Just sit down and chat, and you know, sometimes inviting friends that you know or people that you think can be a positive influence, invite them out for coffee, invite them out for a chat.
Right.
Begin to start the process. Ask for referrals. Get ideas. You can't have all the answers right now. You may feel like you don't have any of the answers, so
I didn't have any when I started. Did you?
you just started asking the questions.
I just
right?
started asking questions. Sometimes I didn't ask the right questions.
Right.
So I learned.
Yeah.
So, but thank you so much for coming from all the way from Denver.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching. If you find value, you know, please subscribe to the channel. Invite your friends to watch. And as always, be happy, be kind, be loved. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.